Everyone, this is David. Welcome back behind the velvet rope. Let's just get right into it today because we are joined by the one, the only Billy Bush.
Roar!
Sir Lion is in the house.
One
How's
letter swap away from sirloin.
this is true. I mean, well, listen, when you think of Billy Bush, you think of, extra TV, season 30, and, pop culture connoisseur. You certainly don't think of singers. So, how has this experience been for you? Tell me everything.
Well, it's like helpful that there's a mask. I will say that because that's like baby steps, right? I'm not walking out on American Idol or America's Got Talent. I'm not claiming to have talent. I'm hiding behind my mask, but doing something that's out of my comfort zone, David. I do this. I come in, I put on my suit, my jacket, and I do my show. I write my scripts, and it's a very comfortable routine. And this is uncomfortable, and I liked it.
You did like it.
Yeah, I think, yeah, like, you know, I could have gone the other way, but I'm not a cowardly lion. I am a bold and brave lion.
You are a bold and brave lion. I mean, now that you've been unmasked, have like any of your famous friends been saying, oh my
Oh,
God?
it's been a ball. I've answering texts all night and all day, and then there's still more that find out because they've then seen it online and someone sent them a clip. So it's been endless. My favorite part was keeping a secret for 6 months because I did tape this in September, and I then got to trick my family last night. My daughters were all there, and we were hanging out, having wine, and the show was on. And when I came, I kind of turned it up the volume, and we were rolling some cameras on them, and the girls were like, "Oh my, yeah, what, Dad? Is that you? Oh my God!" And then like it was just chaos and wonderful.
See, they didn't even know it was you.
No, it was amazing.
Wow. Well, you majored in international studies and you have a family that is so heavy into like finance and politics. Like, did you always grow up like wanting to do something like with media and entertainment and pop culture?
Yeah, I think my father before he became a private asset manager, like a businessman. My father was he was Santa Claus at the Macy's. He did every acting and performing gig under the sun. He was a Yale Whiff and Poof, one of the great vocal, a cappella groups in the world. And then he went on and sang in a group called the Oldsmobile Boys. Till the day he died, he sang in a barbershop quartet called the Long Island Sound. Uh, he made it to Broadway in as Will Parker in Oklahoma. And after he did, he said, my God, the life of an actor is brutal. I finally made it, and now it's time for me to get out of here and go to night school. And he went into business. I wonder if he regretted that because he was such a great tap dancer and singer and all that. So I felt he passed a few years ago. I felt like this is kind of cool. Dad would really dig this.
Dad would really dig this. Well, listen, it is a tough life. I used to practice corporate tax law, but here I am. So,
Good.
sometimes you go the
Yes.
other way.
Yes. You said enough of that crap. I've got to go do something I want to do.
Yeah, that just was not for me. Well, listen, on Extra, we are in season 30. You cover many of, today's pop culture, hot stories. I'm just curious, Beyonce has been covered so many times by so many people on The Masked Singer. Like, what do you think about, Cowboy Carter, Texas Hold'em? There's been so many people have had reactions to Beyonce going into, country music. And, I think we learned now that like she revealed that it was like from a CMA performance with the Dixie Chicks. She didn't necessarily feel welcome and said, hey, I'm going to venture into country music.
Well, we always thought country music was the most welcoming place in the world. It's like, their award shows. They have so many of them. Literally every alphabet letter in the alphabet is rearranged to be an award show for country music. They're doing it almost bi-weekly. And she's from Houston, Texas. So she's got as much acclaim to make a country song as anybody. That's my opinion. I mean, I could make a country song. Why not?
Well, now that you've been on The Masked Singer, maybe that's your next venture.
Well, a lot of people are asking me when's the album. I have to tell you, David, it's if the requests are, it's amazing. The tour, the album, when will it drop? All of that.
It's all gonna come. Do you like what's in your iPod? Like what type of music does Billy Bush listen to when you're
Country music. Do you notice, like on the battle round last night when I had to battle it out, I had the Who Are You? But I put a country music kind of a twang on it. My next song, had I survived that little steel moment, would have been Zach Brown's Chicken Fried. A lot of country music in there for me. And I love classic rock too. Well, you'll see some Tom Petty, you'll see let's see, you'll see the Stones, kind of old school like that.
those are all great ones. What about, on your day job at Extra, you have interviewed everyone who's anyone like, are there people just at the top of your list that you would love to interview?
I'm starting a podcast, which is, I know, late to the party and everything, but the idea is real conversations with people who've overcome real things. Um, and I'm calling it Unscrewed. You're the first person to hear about it because it's not like you were canceled or some other whatever. But everyone at some point, you were in corporate tax law, David. You felt like I gotta unscrew myself. Like, what am I doing? I'm going down a road that's not me, and I want to be happy. And like when I go to work and do what I do, so I would talk to you about that decision. How did you get out of it? Were you terrified that you wouldn't make it or they wouldn't do it? How did you do this? And I think it applies to everybody.
Yeah. I have a lot of those type of conversations. I love those type of conversations.
Right. How do you even at my age at 52, it's like if I wanted to do something else and or in my case I had to get my career going again and but everyone's details are different, you know.
Everyone's details are different. Well, you mentioned cancel culture. Like, where do you think we are as a society today with cancel culture?
I think
We've been
it's
through.
much better. I think it's much better. I think people are sick and tired of this escalating war on human flaws. It doesn't make sense. It's not sustainable. We are all broken toys. We are all capable of a off moment, a bad moment, or whatever, as long as it's not criminal and it doesn't involve trafficking and terrible things against other people. Pretty much everything's forgivable because we're all, like I said, broken. So I think people have had enough, and you know, I see survivable things being survived.
I agree with all of that. I have had enough personally of cancel culture
Enough.
about 3 years ago. So, you're preaching to the choir
Yeah,
here.
I think it's done. I think it had its moment there. But you take from it the good things, right? Like, there was in this town, there was a lot of mistreatment of women and grabbing, butts and hands or things that are very casting couch types of things. And I think movie sets and TV sets have changed in a major way for the better. They needed to.
Have you watched the Nickelodeon